Hey everybody. I think I'm on the live chat. I somehow I got two, it looked like I had two meetings going at the same time. Don't know what that was all about, but I'm here now. How's everybody doing? JDS, how you doing? Tim Jackson. Yeah, I'm okay. I couldn't sleep, legs hurt, back hurt, and I thought, well, I'd come on here and see if anybody else happened to be on or around that probably is in the same boat. The boat. Um, yeah, it's just it is just nice to have the opportunity to be here. If anybody would like to join me on the panel, uh, Tim Jackson, Hadley, anybody that can't sleep right now, maybe for an hour or so, would like to jump on. I just my back and legs and everything were hurting so bad. I got up and went to the little boy's room and said, "No, I'm going to come on at one of my 3 o'clock a.m. Uh, shows and see if anybody in the world is out there." JDS organized. Yeah, Hadley, you're on the late night schedule. I see. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go send some invites out over here. Um, and let's see if we get any takers. So, I'm going to go to the email. Well, first of all, what I have to do is I got to do that, but let me go back here and I got to copy the invite. Copy. Okay, let's go to email. Let's go to make it up. And let's go here, paste. So, what's everybody else doing up? I know Hadley says that he's on as his schedule because the lockdown has changed. I think everybody's has. There's so much going on and different hours and the different and just our lives have been turned upside down. I don't know if and when they're ever going to come back to the way they were, and I don't think they are. I think we're going to be in a new reality of life. Um, so um, it just is going to be some kind of an issue. With going forward. So let's see see if we got any chit and chatting going on here. Okay, back to the chit chat. When you break out so many screens, especially this late at night, it's hard to keep up. Finally built a fast FPV racer today. Wow. Hadley? Justin, that's cool. Yeah, Tim, I understand you're busy with on the phones, um, but I just didn't want you to feel as though you could not or would not. Um, so I'm going to send out some more just to let everybody know, just in case. Let's send one out to Herman Green, a friend of mine. Let's send one out to Lawrence. Novice quads. Let's send it out to Roger. Roger Martin. Let's send one out to Val. We'll send one to John DiNardo. We'll send one to John Coopy. And maybe one, who else we had on here? Robert Stanton. Let's start with that, I guess. And I didn't get a chance to see Pusa Studios last night. Yeah, let's just delete some of those emails. Okay, looks like my email's having a little bit of an issue tonight or this morning. But let's go back over here and check. D90 Balgide. Oh, D90. I'm here watching, Paul. Good for you. Right here, right now, it is 3:17 a.m. in Port Huron, Michigan, just north of Detroit. Yeah, Hadley, the weather here is not supposed to be too good for at least the next 10 days. It's supposed to be colder than normal, with rain showers on and off. In fact, Thursday, tomorrow night, there's a possibility of snow. So it seems the warmth of the country is swooping down below, like into Ohio and then back up to the East Coast. We're in like a trough, I guess, that's right over the Great Lakes. Call it a Great Lakes trough. Yeah, Tim, that's what time you usually get up for work. Yeah. Well, I got up to go to the little boy's room, and my back and legs were hurting, so I toddled on in here, sat down the computer, fired everything up just to see if there was anybody out and about. I find if I sit in this chair a little bit, the pain seems to subside a little bit. I've got bad back, bad knees, bad hips, and I suffer from severe osteoarthritis, is what the doctors call it. And I can see my mobility slow down every day. But enough about me. I mean, everybody has their issues, and it's just is what it is, you know. Uh, and I keep saying I've had a good life, good run, and whatever happens, happens. I'm here for the ride. I can't change anything at this point in time in my life, and yeah, Tim, I have a recliner that, one of those power recliners that has the heat and the massage. The problem I have is, even though it does that, when I recline back, in fact, that's what I have to sleep in. I can't sleep in a bed anymore because I just can't do it, because I have one of those beds that is, the Craftmatic bed like that, but I just can't lay down. And yeah, so it's hard to explain, but the recliner, what happens is, if you any of you have been in a recliner, it hits you right in the back, the calves of your legs when you're in the reclined position. And over time, throughout the night, even though I'm using an electric blanket to keep me warm, um, it starts to ache and hurt, and you have to get up and move a little bit. And that's usually what wakes me up and points me in the direction of the bathroom. So Pluto TV. Now, what's that, Justin? Tell me about Pluto TV. Why snip this? Snip that one hair, that wild hair that's just bugging the hell out of me when I look on the screen. Um, well, Tim, it's just one of those things you got to deal with in life. It's never going to get better. Osteoarthritis, of course, is the degradation of your tendons and your joints and everything else, and just is what it is. The only thing that bothers me is that as you get older, Tim, you'll find your mind plays tricks on you, in the fact that you still in your mind think you're in your 20s and 30s. And when you have a situation like that, your body says, oh, no, 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 you can't do that. Yeah, that's I've heard of that. Um, the free TV thing, but um, I have cable here for my internet, and I get all the channels from Xfinity with everything else. Because as you can imagine, I do, besides flying the ships that gets me out of the house as much as possible, I end up having to edit and usually have a TV on in the background. Yeah, Tim, exactly. Wow, JDS says it's minus 7 degrees Celsius there in eastern Canada. JDS, how far are you from Roger and Montreal and that area, Quebec? That's okay, Tim. You're working. We understand. I'll have to check that out. Okay. And you live close to Chrissy, or do you actually live with Chrissy? I know, like in my case, Lynn lives about 3 miles away from me, the other side of town, which gives her her space and gives me my space. If I find the older I get, um, I tell everybody I've turned into a retired hermit for the most part. Back when things were normal a couple of months ago, I would go shopping in the middle of the night in a 24-hour store for groceries or whatever else I needed. And I just liked it that way because the store was full of people stocking shelves and everything else. And you had the store pretty much yourself, parked by the front door. Mia would go with me and she'd sit in the truck out in the park in the handicap right outside the door. And yeah, yeah. Well, I also have. I live in an older house. It's was my parents' house. Actually, my parents brought me home when I was born to this house. And when it was built back in 19, let's see, like 1912, 1915, maybe 1920s. It is a large house, and upstairs um, it has a two-bedroom apartment, full apartment upstairs, with its own entrance. Um, and I have tenants up there, so and they have their own parking and everything on the north side of the house, so it's pretty transparent for me. But the utilities and everything are high because I'm part of their rent is heat, lights, air conditioning, uh, internet, cable. So but it helps me because the size of the house, and the age of the house, the utilities, as you can imagine, runs pretty high. My utility bills in the wintertime run, well, usually year round, because it flip flops from gas to electric, getting higher because of the air conditioning and everything. So it runs anywhere from 400 to $600 a month for the utilities. Yeah, I understand, Tim. Tim, exactly what kind of work do you do, my friend? Are you a dispatcher? We have a couple of people that are dispatchers, taking calls. Ah, your supervisor. Oh, that's okay. I understand. There's a lot of things go on in the world that just isn't for public knowledge. All kinds of things like that. Kind of like my dear friend Lenny. She had a very long government career, and some of the things she dealt with was top secret stuff. And she just, I've been after her for a long time because, as most of you may know, she was started out in the Air Force flying jets, and then she went to the Army flying attack helicopters during the Vietnam period. And then she went to work in the Pentagon as an investigator and went through the ranks there and was an investigator for the Department of Investigative Services, which is above NCIS. The DIS, which was what they called it up until recently, the DIS was the investigative services for all departments, divisions, and everything having anything to do with military and its reach. And so I've been after her for a long time. Lynn, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And she, no, I can't. So I've taken, she's very serious about all the oaths she's taken. And I said, even if you write the book and archive it, lock it away someplace so that after, we all only here on this planet for a certain amount of time afterwards, that book would be there for eternity. Nope, no, she won't do it. So it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I call her my hero, and she just kind of shakes her head and like, there's so many other people that she knew and lost throughout the years. What she did, I mean, she was. This is just between us, and I know when I say just between us, there's several people here, but Tim, she was kidnapped off the streets in Southeast Asia, held for 72 hours, tortured, raped, sodomized, and all kinds of things that to this day she still has nightmares about until a military SWAT team came and rescued her. And she was then shipped immediately to Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, where she spent several months recovering. And they offered to retire her out of the military, and she said no, and she stuck with it, and that's when she went on to be an investigator at the Pentagon. So, oh yeah, she's tenacious. Yeah, she does. She suffers from post traumatic syndrome, and because of her time in she when she was stationed over in Southeast Asia and flying attack helicopters, she developed Agent Orange, and she has that she deals with at the VA, and she also suffers from radiation poisoning because she was stationed as a DIS agent over in Italy, right across from Chernobyl, where Chernobyl blew up, and she was irradiated, and so they're dealing with all of that as well. So her medical issues are extensive, and she gets treatment all the time. But at one point in time, she was in a wheelchair, but she willed herself out of that. So, but enough about Lenny and the doom and gloom. She's alive, well, and but she is my hero. Yeah, yep, Tim. There's a lot of that going on. I know several people personally that have died, not directly from, but contributed. Agent Orange contributed to their earlier demise than you would expect because of the way once you get something like that in your body, it rattles around in there. But enough doom and gloom. We got our own doom and gloom in our life. This lockdown. How's everybody feeling about that? Especially you, Tim. Has it changed your life much? I know Hadley is out there in Arizona focused. Well, two things I would imagine. I don't know, Hadley, if you enjoy the extreme heat, but I know that Arizona um, is really up on the heat index this last week, and you're coming into your summer when it's really hotter than heck out there. Well, sounds just like me, Tim. I talk to Lenny periodically, and Lynn used to stop by and come over and see Mia, my dog, who just loves her Auntie Lynn. And but other than that, I have a few old friends that I talk to, but um, and my neighbors across the street, I'm good friends with them. But I have, except for talking on the phone, and they're older than I am, and I talk to them periodically, and they seem to be surviving. Yeah, Aries a very knowledgeable and intelligent person. You can just tell. Um, you can tell that he is, I would say, well rounded, even though he has his own medical issues too. So, yep, yeah. Earlier tonight, uh, last night. Um, I don't know if anybody if Tim, if you happen to catch Geek Savannah's live stream. He had Dr. Lee, who was instrumental in working on drones in for use by NASA. And they're sending a drone. I think it's in the spring, and it takes like a year and a half or 2 years to get to Mars and land on Mars. And they're going to fly this drone around Mars. Um, because the atmosphere is so thin, the rotor blades have to be so wide in order to get the lift and everything else. But they're everybody's pretty excited about that. Yeah, it was a great interview for sure, and I did a pre-show, kind of warming up the airwaves and everything, and passed it off to Sean Geese Geek Savannah, and he didn't even know I was doing it, but we did it, and I had John Coopy and Val on the panel with me, and we would talk to a lot of people and kind of spread the word, because it turned out, I'm glad I did, because a lot of people were over there watching, because it was a very, and the thing of it is usually with those types of people that are so busy with NASA and their careers and everything else, they answer questions and they're very cordial. But Dr. Lee, he seemed very, very upfront, very likable, and in fact, I think he probably would have stayed on longer. But if anybody knows Sean, he's very punctual, and if he schedules something for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, he holds to that, because towards the end, um, Dr. Lee was opening up about, they were talking about SETI and the possibilities of life in the universe, and it was very interesting. Um, he had his own thoughts, because he is a member of SETI, and he couldn't give any specifics, but he talked about SETI, and his whole crux was, is that galaxies are like 50 million light years away from each other, and there's thousands of galaxies in the universe. And his theory was, yes, probably maybe in our universe there may be some microbial life some places, but as far as intelligent life on our level or above, um, his theory is that it may have only one of those in every galaxy, because they have millions of stars and everything in each galaxy. And so if there's millions of galaxies, what did he say, 310 million galaxies? He says then there are, even if there's only one intelligent life in every galaxy, that's 310 million of intelligent lives. But it's like he said, at our rate of knowledge, until they figure out how to warp time and space, uh, the light we see from a galaxy, another galaxy, could be 50 million years old. So the images that are reaching Earth were 50 million years ago. And they're in the same boat unless they have solved being able to warp time and space, which is at this point only a really good theory. Um, there isn't any way for them. But and Sean said that he thought that it was interesting that he wondered how many other intelligent species were out there thinking that same thing at that same moment. If you've got millions of galaxies, so that means millions of potential intelligent life in their thought process. And of course, then he touched on the fact that just because there may be intelligent life other places in the universe doesn't mean that they would be necessarily friendly life or uh, be interested in interacting with any other intelligent life. Yeah, that's the thing, Tim. Like, time will tell, but we're talking about millions and billions of years. But during that presentation, he talked about the he calls them helicopters for Mars, which are quadcopters and hexacopters. You know, the over under, and the exploration that they had planned to do with it. One of the things that I found was interesting is the one that's going this next year, is as I understood what was said, was that uh, they programmed it once it lands. It's going to be have a lander that's going to move it around a little bit. Once it lands on Mars, uh, the Mars rover that it's going to be with is going to focus its camera on the drone. As the drone is flying, and they're going to be taking selfies of each other from up there on Mars, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, exactly. You know, at some point in time, we have to respect and not rush to the scientific. Oh, I want to know what they're made of, and put them through all kinds of procedures that just isn't. It isn't like a handshake, that's for sure. You know, because we hear all the stories, and nobody will say um, about the way that aliens are treated at Roswell and other things. That supposedly a couple of the aliens that crashed in Roswell were taken to a military hospital facility and dissected and everything else. And it's like, oh, just when we look at everything in the universe as being less than what we are, we have a problem. Yep, exactly right, Tim. Somehow be able to develop a communication, but I think you have to have a respect for them. And knowing the scientific community, the way they've demonstrated throughout mankind, they look at everything, and I don't think there's a respect for anything. I think it's they feel as though they're on a mission. They can do whatever they want to do, and it should be okay. And it's not. Um, I don't understand how they ever, in their endeavor to explore and understand things, how they think that they should be able to just do whatever they want to do without respecting the well, look out through, is there on our planet, there's many forms of intelligent life, from apes to tigers to elephants. I mean, they all have brains and they all have some intelligence, but there's a large portion of the people that live on this earth just think that they can go and kill and terrorize and do whatever they want to anything that lives. And I just don't think that's right. But that's my opinion. I don't know whether we lost JDS, if he's still listening or still out there or not. Let me go over here and take a look and see how many people are watching. 6 people are watching. We got 5 likes, 6 likes. Um, well, what you see in nature, Tim, in my mind, is the smarter animals in nature have a much stronger, not a hierarchy, but a respect for one another in most cases. I mean, that doesn't mean that they don't attack one another on occasion, but they seem to function in their own society that respects older and wiser and all those kinds of things, where the human race sometimes, not always, but sometimes is out of control and there is no respect. Society, as we have witnessed in some cases, just goes awry. And it's like Jane Goodall and her apes. She was forever trying to protect them from poachers and people that didn't care and just wanted to kill the apes. And it's kind of mind-boggling to me, this need to kill anything we don't understand, or kill something just because it's different, not because it needed to be killed, but because they want to kill. That really is an issue in my book, but I don't know if it'll ever get changed in a multitude of lifetimes. It just is what it is. Yeah, things have evolved over the years, Tim. You're right. And I don't think evolution in all cases has been for the greater good. I think evolution is like zigzagging, good, bad, good, bad. And so at any given moment in time, there's this almost a chaotic um, dynamic working good and bad and good and bad and good and bad. And then when you get into that, then you start to think about, Tim, from whose perspective is good good and whose perspective is bad bad. So um, I've often said, if some supreme being, God or whoever, which I am a Christian, God or whoever, appointed me the ruler of all, I don't think I could figure it out. I think it would be just too overwhelming to try. Because if you look at those people that conquered portions of the earth throughout our history, none of them, none of them succeeded because of graft, corruption, and greed. Yeah, yeah. Well, the other thing too is society in our country here has degraded to a point where they want to be TV families. And what I mean by that is they want everybody to be driving new cars, everybody not have to work, everybody expected to do what they want to do, and and be not. There's a few still helicopter parents that take it too far the other way, but for the most part, I see society as being a live and let live, and whatever happens happens. And my children wouldn't do that, so therefore it allows their children to do exactly that. And I don't think they're doing the kids any favor to shelter them, give them whatever they want, tell them you don't have to be responsible for anything. Just live your life. I mean, I hear that all the time. Kids just want to live their lives. Well, live their lives comes with living your life. It comes with responsibilities, respect, and uh, a strong work ethic. Uh, and I realize everybody can't work as hard as others because of other things, whether disorders or other things. Hey, Val, there she is. Good morning, Val. I can't hear you yet, dear. No audio, honey. I see you good. And it said it was connecting with audio, but it didn't connect.
Do you hear
Oh,
me now?
I can hear you now just fine.
Okay, I'm gonna try to plug this in and see if you can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing up?
Well, as I explained when I started this at about 3 o'clock, I got up to go to the little boys' room, which I do frequently during the night, and
Yeah.
my legs and back and hips and everything hurt so bad. I says, well, I'm going to go over and see if there's anybody on, and I just fired up the computer, came on, and Tim Jackson and I have been having a really good conversation on chat. He's at work, and
Oh, hey, Tim.
he's a supervisor, and he every once in a while the phone rings and he has to go. But we've been talking about society and life in general, and I was telling him about everything that Geek Savannah's channel and how wonderful that show was last night.
It was really good. It was really good. And then he came on my show for a little bit.
Yep.
And you came on.
Yep.
But I just really, really like Geek Savannah and the stuff
Yep.
he's doing.
Yep. Well, the sadly, the part you missed, and maybe you got to go back and watch it, Val, is towards the end of the show, Sean asked him about SETI and life anywhere else in the universe. And he went on and told his thoughts about the whole thing. And it was
Oh,
very, very interesting because he talked about the millions of galaxies, and galaxies are separated by, a minimum of 50 million light years. So he says, even if you were to send a transmission to another galaxy, it would take 50 million light years for it to get there, and 50 million light years for them to answer, unless the intelligent life has found a way around the warping of time and space and that kind of thing.
so if the intelligent life is more intelligent than us.
Exactly. And that's what he said. Being as how there are millions and billions of galaxies out there,
Oh, yeah.
his estimation is there's a good possibility that there's at least one intelligent species in every galaxy. So he says now you're talking 50 million intelligent lives out there that we just don't know of. Because at first he talked about our galaxy, which is expansive.
Right.
He says there probably we will find microbial life in some cases. But he says as far as intelligent life, he put it out there for the universe and said, even if there was one intelligent species in every galaxy, you're still talking about 50 million species of intelligent life. And that just, it kind of like, that's mind blowing, like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Oh my god.
And at the end, but the other part I liked about Dr. Lee is he was very informative, very forthcoming. And I think he really enjoyed himself because at the end he started really opening up and talking. And Sean keeps everything right on cue type of thing.
He does. He does.
And it got to be an hour, and it was like I felt as though Sean says, well, we're coming to the end of the show, and the doctor was still talking, and it's like, just keep going.
Oh yeah, I that's why I told everyone, if it goes late, you stay there, come over when it's done.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, you don't get someone like that as a guest.
Ew.
And then go, excuse me.
Yeah. And he was
time to go.
He was having a good time, and he was just expounding more and more and more. And Sean looks up. I could see he kept looking at the clock, and he says, well, we're coming towards the end of the show. Is there anything else you'd like to say? And the doctor just kept talking. I think he tried to shut him off like twice. And Dr. Lee kept talking and talking and talking. He says, and you could tell that, Sean produces a great show. At the end, he has, what's that gal's name? You know who?
Tip. It starts with T, Tippy, or yes, I do know who you mean. Libby. Okay, does not start with the D.
And she did the exit, which it was a voiceover. And so you could hear the doctor talking to Sean afterwards, telling him what a great time you had. Thank you so much for having me and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
And so in my mind, and I could be wrong, in my mind, he should have just kept it running until the doctor says, well, I guess I've answered all your questions. And because you could.
Yeah. And it's always okay. It's always okay. I just feel, like Tuesday nights for me are pretty slow nights anyway. And I just go just because I have people who are expecting me and we have fun. But I just thought,
Yep.
You just got to stay where I felt bad about leaving. I was about to tell everyone, listen, if you're coming to my show, I'll be there as soon as this is done. But I couldn't do that. So, but I was there till about 10 of 7.
Yeah. Well,
and then I had to go sit up.
Just about 10 to 7 is when it flipped and he started talking about life and other gals.
Damn it.
Tim in the chat answered our Libby question, and he says, just think of the technology that other galaxies have.
Right. Right. You
Oh,
know,
and Tim says hello, Val.
yeah, hi Tim.
Tim,
I got my phone going and I got my phone so I can read some chat. And I got this. Yeah, I was working with my Osmo Pocket. I was trying to see some other things I could do with it. So I was kind of having fun with that.
Yeah.
Hi, Neil. So I just wanted to get an idea. Oh my God. So yes, I'm up way past my Betty by time, but then I saw I had mail. So I went on and I went to check it out. And oh my gosh, I was like, did Paul just send me a link? He couldn't have sent me a link.
Well, I sent one to all of our friends, Val, so that when they get up and check their mail, they're gonna go, "Oh my God."
Hi D90 Belly. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I think I just D90 Bell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm just sitting here in bed. I'm in bed amongst all my pillows.
Hello, Neil. How you doing?
Yeah, I was watching all my stuff. Gosh, trying to get, because I haven't had time with all this studying, Paul.
Yeah.
It feels like I am just either on live or I'm studying or something like that. So I haven't had time to do any more searching of my pocket stuff. So I decided to do that.
Well, you every once in a while, it's okay to take a break. I know you're focused on getting your 107 license, and that's great, but doesn't mean you can't do other things, you know?
I know, but I don't know. When I get focused, it's just how I do. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what I said. Okay, guys, even with glasses, I can hardly see my screen. So I tried to say hi all, and they said hi Bell or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is. It is hard for you. I know. Neil Adam Zach, I just went and subscribed to your channel. You got 156, and it looks to me like you're up in northern Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. We get a lot of Michigan guys.
Yes, yes. So it's
and I'll have to go back later because I can't do it on this.
no, I understand.
Yeah. I don't even know. Yeah. So
And
so
who else was on earlier was Hadley was on. He was up and about. He was
oh, was he?
working on a race quad, and
Oh, nice.
he reported in. It says it's
That's
going
all
to be
right.
107 degrees there today.
It got up to 80 something today here. Oh,
yeah. It's one thing to get up into the 70s and 80s, but when it gets up over 100,
Tim.
oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
That's like walking around in an oven in my mind, you know?
We have all the little fly things coming out and all the other stuff, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready for bugs.
Yep, exactly. Neil, a channel you might be interested in the future is Val's Life. She has a great channel. She flies and she interviews people and has a talk. And she also has a channel that she's working on now is more about healthy living and keto, which she is very passionate about. And of course, another great channel is Canadian Drone Hub that's on every morning at at 9 a.m.
He'll be up soon.
Yep. And
we'll all be like sleeping. Sorry, we were on late.
Yep. And they have a whole bunch of guests that come and go on that channel, and people on the panel. and it's there's so many great channels out here. I know that everybody can't go to everything.
Oh yeah, like tonight. Well, I was on. We had Above and Beyond was on. We had Philly Drone Life, but he came on during game night. He was on his show with Ron Brown. We had Bill the Drone Reviewer on. We had I mean, just Tuesday has become the place to be.
Yep.
I remember when I was on Tuesday and nobody was on Tuesday.
Well, Val, I want to also thank you once again for coming on with me before Sean Geek Savannah's show. We had some fun and good conversation, and
Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
we were kind
Warming
of
up for
warming up the crowd,
getting him ready to go over.
Yeah.
There's nothing like opening up a live stream and seeing 10, 20 people in there waiting on you.
Yep.
Or more, right? It's
Yep.
always nice. That
Well,
happened
and I
to
know
me
that
the other day, and I was just like, where am I? Am I in my channel?
I get the feeling Sean doesn't like things when they don't go just exactly as planned. He likes to plan them. And I know he was having
Yes.
computer problems before, so he was probably frantic about getting
Oh
it.
yeah. He said he had to go on to OBS and bring Zoom in.
Yep.
And I thought, and then that other guy, Axel, no, off
Dr.
Axel.
Dr. Lee, I think, was all keyed up before. I think he was trying to Skype and he had to change over to Zoom.
Yeah. You almost just need to stick with Zoom because Skype can be iffy at best sometimes.
Exactly.
But the guy who came into your show that said the other guy was fine. I forget the name. It's off Axel.
Oh yeah.
You know which one went okay. He did a live stream at 11.
Oh, did
and
he?
So everyone from game night, I kept him on to 11. We all went and hit his channel. So he just started off with our gamers, and it wasn't a lot of people. We had just a few people. And we were all ready to go, and he had technical problems.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought, oh my God. I mean, poor guy, because someone says something. I said, yeah, I've had this happen before. And I was just panicked.
Yeah, he seemed like a really good guy.
Yeah, so I'm sorry you missed it. I was thinking I was going to go to bed. I was here. I made it to the bed. I just didn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I've been having really weird pain in my legs recently. So, yeah, I'm living with that right now.
Yeah, that's what I have. Leg pain, back pain, hip pain,
Yeah.
And so I have to change positions. So that's why I come over here to the desk, and this is a lazy boy office chair, and I can sit in it. And if I sit in it, Val, for maybe an hour or two, I feel much better when I go back over to the recliner because it gives what I notice, because I have to sleep in a recliner. I notice,
right.
You know how the bottom comes out, clips you right in the back of your calves of your legs. So then after 2 or 3 hours, the back of your legs start to ache. So then you wake up, so.
Yeah, I just I think from sitting in that chair doing all the studying is what's killing mine. Yeah, don't throw your phone out the window, Tim. Don't do it. This is what your next life is gonna be. There's nothing wrong with being a puppy.
Yeah.
I had a dream about my friend, Mary's daughter, just last night. And then I got a text from her today.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, okay, because something was telling me I need to get a hold of her and see how she's doing. So that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, Tim says that your dreams tell a lot about He believes in reincarnation. I would say what your next life is going to be.
Well, I I don't usually have bad dreams anymore. I always have kind of nice dreams,
Yeah.
but nothing about a next life. I'm always me.
Well, the thing of it is in most of my dreams, like I say, I don't have usually nightmares or whatever like Lynn does, but uh,
Oh,
most of my dreams, Val, are just sometimes they can be. You can wake up and say, "What the hell was that all about?" It's strange, you know.
right, 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 right. You try to paste them together, and it's like,
But you
what
know,
the
I
hell?
find I
Yeah.
fell asleep tonight with the TV on because I was waiting for the news to catch the weather, but I fell asleep before that.
Hmm.
And so I woke up, and it was a weird dream, and I'm waking up because I had to use the bathroom, and the TV was on. I find I get really strange dreams when the TV's on, and then I
Yes,
yep
yes. I listen to books to fall asleep.
yep
So I have to tell it to go in sleep mode after an hour. I will have parts of the books in my dreams.
yep.
Yeah, I think our souls live on. I do, Tim.
Well, having seen it a lot in my lifetime, from when I was a paramedic and everything, and I saw babies die, small children die, and things like that. I kind of agree with you as a Christian. It doesn't talk about that, but I think that what we're doing here on this planet is we're here sent back continually to learn different things. Like you might come back as an African American a life and learn what they go through, or you might come back as a crippled person to learn how to adapt and what they go through, and learn as much as you can. And at some point through that evolution, that's when God pulls you aside and says, "Okay, you passed all your examinations. Come on to the gates of heaven."
Yeah, well, I'm kind of hoping because I always feel like I'm a new soul.
Yeah,
Yeah, some people go, I'm an old, some people are
yeah,
old
yeah,
soul. Well, everyone thinks they're old,
yeah.
but I think I'm fairly new. And I gotta tell you, the amount of times I'd have to come back, no, I don't want to come back that much.
But see, the thing of it is, Val, you don't know how many times you've already come back.
No, I have no idea.
Yep. And all even in Christianity and Buddhism and everything, they talk about everything will be explained at the time of your death, and that's when I think it's renewed, and you're given your new assignment.
Oh my God, could you imagine? I'll probably come back like a bug. I hope it's just I'm not a bug. I don't
Yeah,
like bugs.
right.
Like Buddhists believe you come back with all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No, I think you come back as whatever, a human being, but because in my mind, that's the only way I could explain why a 2-year-old gets hit by a car and dies. When in my mind, he didn't get a chance to experience life. Or
Yes, yes.
why people die at different ages. If it's only a one-time pass through life, I don't think God would allow us just to have experience young children dying and those kinds of things, and they haven't had a chance to grow up, grow old, have a family, learn,
Right.
experience. And that's why I say when that child goes back, he may live to be 100 the next time around. Who knows? But I'm sure of one thing: when we do it, Val, it will all become clear to us.
Yes, yes, yes. My friend went to had regression. Have you ever heard of that?
Yep.
Where they go in. But she was like, everybody, like my family was very intertwined with her family for a long time. And then her boyfriend played a significant part, but I don't know. But I don't know that I I don't know that you can regress and remember past lives.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
my
think
like I'll come back as a
well, I had an
prostitute.
experience, Val, and Tim. Yes, Tim agrees with us. Um, I had an experience, in my younger years. I would say this to be 20, 30 years ago. I wanted to lose weight, and that was back during the period of everybody says, "Well, go to a hypnotist. Go to a hypnotist."
Oh yes, yes,
And there
yes.
was there was a doctor that was a hypnotist that lived in a town north of me, which had a population probably of 3, 4,000, 5,000 people. And I went to him and I sat down, and he had an office in an older house on Main Street. And I sat down, and as he started to put me under, I had a reaction, and it was like I was falling into the gates of hell. There was flames around me, and it was just horrendous. And all of a sudden, I woke up and threw up all over his office. And he said, "Don't ever get hypnotized again, because you have experienced something that I cannot explain, but would lead me to believe there's something more going on than anyone has the knowledge to understand." And I left there and thought about that for days and weeks. And
Oh yeah.
it's still with me. But I'll tell you, I actually thought I saw at the end, before I woke up and threw up, the gates of hell, and the devil was staring out at me.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Yeah. So uh,
Uh uh
it
uh.
was it was not a good experience.
So then you decided to start
Uh,
being nice to
yeah.
everybody, and you
And
Christmas
I
was
also
big.
kind of, even though I tried to lose weight on and off after that, I kind of decided that God has made me the way I am. So I
Yeah.
need to appreciate every day I'm alive, and not worried how to make myself into something that I really am not. You know,
You know what?
it's kind of like
Yes.
touching up a masterpiece. Oh, I think that duck should really be over here on the pond, or
Right, right. You know what, Tim? I agree with you. I think that it wasn't the gates of hell he was saying. It was something to do with fire in a past life, and it must have been horrendous and terribly scary,
yeah,
and it must have not ended well for you in your past life.
yeah, because I was falling into it. It was almost, you
Hmm.
see movies where people are falling into a volcano.
Yep.
That's exactly what. And maybe I was a Samoan at one time, or around a
A
volcano.
Mayan,
Yeah,
and that's what I would think it would be, because I don't think your soul would have been down into well, I don't have a big belief in hell at all, because I don't think that is something that, I was always taught that God would never do that to us because he loves us so much, even though we're stupid sometimes. And we are.
well, I believe there's always redemption.
Yes.
However, Lucifer was an angel, and he was cast out of heaven and to rule on his own. So there is a little bit of that in our cultural history. And I don't know. I'm sure that God is omnipotent and can change everything, but I think Lucifer pushed him and pushed him and pushed him till he was cast out. And so you don't know what the hell. What does that mean?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just a really firm believer that
Well,
there's
you should
always
live your life so you
redemption.
shouldn't have to worry about Lucifer.
Yes, yes. And though I've seen evil in my day. I have seen evil, and yeah, you always wonder how that happens
Yeah,
from the get-go,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And Lynn in her lifetime, working on Ruby Ridge and Jeffrey Dahmer cases and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
it's really evil. Uh, it, it really takes a toll on everybody that worked on those cases and everybody around them, because at the end of the day, you got to try and say, why? Why can somebody be that evil?
We had a case like that when I was working. It's a really ugly case.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, I just don't, you can't hardly get your head around
Yep.
what was going on. And I told the parent, I said, you keep worrying about this one over here, but this little one's the one you have to worry for because something's very wrong. And it turned out that was right. But you know what? It's just what it is. It's just what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
Scary, scary stuff out there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Everybody you meet on the street is not your friend.
No, and if they invite you for dinner, you have to ask him, what exactly are you serving?
Yep. Yep. But
Because
when
if it's me, I'm not going to be there.
but when you go back in your life and you think about a more gentle, kinder time when we were kids, it's like we those kinds of things never entered our mind.
No.
Everybody was our friend, It's like when you
Oh
used
yeah,
to,
yeah.
this is my friend so and so, and that's my friend so and so, and did we really know anything about them and their family? No, but they're my
No.
friend.
Yeah. Everybody was.
Yeah.
I was always telling my parents we should bring people home to live with us because we had enough room if they didn't have a house.
Yeah.
Parents, don't bring people home.
Yeah.
Why not? I was so little. I
Yeah.
was just,
Yeah, and it was hard for anybody to explain to you why, because at that age, remember, Val? Well, why?
Yeah.
Well, why? Why?
Yeah, and you never could answer why because there
No.
was always so many whys.
Yeah, exactly. And
I must have drove my parents crazy.
Every answer led to another why. Well, because why?
Yeah, right. And you really wanted to know.
Yeah.
And they just thought you were trying to be
Obnoxious.
yeah, and even if we weren't trying.
Well,
Just came natural.
At some point in time, Val, the little light switch went on in our little brains saying, ooh, I can twist the key a little bit there, but just by saying, well, why?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, Lynn's gone through a lot. She's truly just a sweet, sweet person, but she's been through a lot.
Yeah, she has. And she's my hero, and I think she's a hero to a lot of people. But living the life she has, she doesn't. I don't see Lynn doesn't see herself as doing anything heroic because she was surrounded by other people that were doing similar jobs, and she sees them. She is just one of the many,
Yeah.
And Tim says, "Mom
It was not on the say we did." Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So funny. So funny.
It is.
Yeah, I don't worry about too many things because I feel it's just some things are just going to be. And if there's life after life, it would just be. And I know I'll be stupid and they'll say, hey, you want to go back? Well, yeah, I'll do that. Can I help someone down there? Yeah, okay, yeah. Send me in, coach.
Yeah.
And then I'll be down there going, what the hell? How did I get into this?
Exactly. And the thing of it is theoretically you're right on the money, because once you die, if there isn't life after death, you're not going to know anyway.
Right.
Because your spirit's going to go somewhere else, and maybe it's just like the original thought is, it's going to go to a wonderful place to dwell in the light of in enlightenment forever,
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. I'll be up there. So do you got any Timmys?
Yes, exactly. I just want to make sure there's going to be 2-bite brownies up there because
Yeah, if they can see to that,
Yeah.
if they could see to that, I'd be, yeah, because I just think, with heaven, there's probably you don't need food. You're a soul. That's you become one with everything. And I would like to think though that I could still have some coffee.
Tim Jackson says he can remember back living in the era when you had party lines, party phones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pick up the phone and listen first to see if anybody's on.
Yeah, all I remember is having the rotary phones from way back before we had push stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a party line. We had a separate line.
Yeah. We did too. I never had one, but I had a neighbor, Steve Harris, that was my age, lived across the street and down a little bit. He had a party line because his mother was a single mother. And, if you had a party line, you got it cheaper. And because my dad was a government official, we had a private line. And I remember going down there and Steve every once in a while picked the phone up just to see if anybody was on, put it back down.
Yeah, because you can find out all about your neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we had a private line. My dad worked for IBM and after he got out of the Air Force and college and all that.
Yeah.
So we had our own line, but I don't know what that would be like.
Yeah.
And I don't know how my parents stood it.
Yeah.
They had 4 of us. And we didn't just pick up the phone and use it. We go, hey, I want to make a call.
Yeah.
We had to ask.
Yeah. And the thing, and I grew up when the phone was mounted on the wall in the kitchen, the rotary, the big box square rotary.
Oh, one. Yeah.
And it, of course, it had a 20-foot cord that was stretched out all over, but it then I remember when my mother first got a phone that was on the coffee table next to her chair, a second phone. It was like, oh my God,
Yeah, because I remember we had a phone in the kitchen. We always had one in the kitchen.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, as if you lived there most of your life. And then we had one, where did we have one? We had one upstairs.
Yeah.
I remember that. But, my dad would just, and we had a color TV.
Yep.
My dad got us a color TV, built it. He wanted to build it. It was one of those GI kits.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
that was back in the day, Val, when the TV was furniture.
Oh yeah, it was totally furniture.
Yep.
It was.
And we had, I think it was 3 or 4 channels. One Canadian channel, Channel 9. We had 2, 4, and Channel 7, which was ABC, NBC, and CBS, and that was it.
That was it. You didn't have more than that. You had 3 main people.
Nope. And at 11 o'clock, or was it 12 o'clock? It went to played the national anthem, and then went no.
It was done.
Yep, done.
There was a time it just got done.
Yep.
Nobody was going to work all night long.
At 6 in the morning, it would come on and it would play the national anthem again and start up another day.
Oh my gosh. And now we're 24/7.
Yeah. And hundreds of channels.
We had 3, 6, and 10. I don't remember what we had. I don't remember the actual channels. Yeah, I just remember my dad pulling that big thing, and it was furniture.
Yeah. And it
was.
There was no remote control. It was the kids. Hey, get up and change the channel.
We were the remote control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we are so we have so much stuff, leisure stuff, that I think we've been very spoiled in some ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you think back to the first time, well, I remember the cars my parents had.
Right.
We always, we always had the 4 doors, because at first my dad had a 2-door, and my dad used to laugh. Years and years after that, he'd say, I would point at the back quarter panel and say, "Dad, door, Dad, door." I wanted a 4-door.
You want your own door.
Yeah, I didn't want to be going in and out of flip the seat forward and get in the back. Dad, door, Dad, door.
Oh my God, Paul. Yeah, because I always thought, we had 4 doors. There was just too many children not to.
Yep. Yep.
There were 4 of us crazy kids, and I just think, if we had to all pile in back, that would have been too much.
Yeah, and then I remember when station wagons evolved to having a 3rd seat in the back that flipped up and flipped down, and then they flipped up and faced the rear, because the glass in the back would go up into the top, and it would flip open like a door or flip down depending upon what you wanted.
Yep. We had a station wagon, and I got to tell you, it was fun sitting all the way in the back. The only problem was that then they said you shouldn't have a seat that far back because the fumes would go and be gassing you all the way.
Yep.
Yeah, I always sat in the back, which is probably it.
And today, you remember the dashboards were all made out of metal?
Yes.
And there were no power windows. You had to crank them up and down.
Oh, yep.
And I can remember back, there was no air conditioning. Air conditioning was you rolled the windows down at 60 miles an hour. That's the
yes. Yep. I remember my dad telling me when I bought my first car, it was like a little Dodge Dart or something like that. It's a small car. It was one of their small Dodges. And my dad had told me, he said, you don't need air conditioning because it's only hot 3 months out of the year.
Yep.
Okay. So we lived in Maryland, humid as hell.
Yeah.
So I'd get in my car, drive to the country club because that's where I was hanging, working. And by the time I got there, I'd be almost totally soaked. And I'm like, Dad.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was so old school, and he was the county clerk here for 38 years. He was so old school. He had a Ford Fairlane.
Oh, yeah.
And he wouldn't have an automatic. It was a 3 on the tree. And when he bought it at the Ford dealer, it had a radio in it, and he wouldn't take delivery of it till they removed that damn radio. You don't need a radio in the car. And so they put the plate on there instead of the radio. And they says, do we have to take the antenna off the fender? And he says, well, I guess not. That'd be all right.
Oh my God.
And it was a 2-door.
Yeah.
And it was just, vinyl floors. I mean, it was as stark as you could get.
Oh my God. It's my little yellow car that I got. It was yellow. And I just loved it. It's my first car. It's 18. It's the first one that I bought. Yeah. And I gotta say, it had not a lot in it. The black seats that were so hot in the winter. And so hot in the summer where you could hardly sit or touch the steering wheel.
Yeah.
No air conditioning at all. Oh my God, what a mess. What a mess.
I remember my first car was a hand-me-down car from my brother to me that my parents owned, of course. And when I graduated high school and was going to college, my dad sent me up to the Ford dealer to look at cars. And I went up, and on the showroom floor was a 1970 Ford Pinto hatchback. And I said, I'll take that one. And I think it cost like out the door $1,700 or $1,800. And it had a radio, an AM radio in it. Bucket seats with the automatic on the floor. And I thought I died and went to heaven,
Let me tell you something. My dad went to go get my mother a car. And he always had these very nice cars. And she decided she wanted the Pinto. And I can't remember what year it was, but it was not, it could have been a 74 or 72, whatever year they came out. She thought it was cute. That thing was the biggest gutless wonder. She would hit the gas to get on the highway and it'd be doing 20 up the ramp. If you were lucky. I felt like we had to stick our foot out.
Oh, yeah,
Pedal
yeah.
along.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, my sister ended up getting it. No, my brother, then my sister. So they each had it a year. And then when I turned 16, I got my driver's license. I think it was a little while before, and then I got it.
Yeah.
And by the time I got it, I had to change a fender. I had to change all the stuff. My dad would work on it with me. And I just go, Dad, I don't think it can go anymore. He goes, oh, no, it's fine. Oh, my God, the Pinto. And then we find out if someone had hit us from behind, we probably would have exploded, Paul. Yeah. Exploded.
Yeah, Tim, the Pinto was hot. It had the regular hood on it. Like the body kind of went up and down and back at a slope, and then that was
it sloped like that. Yeah.
And you had two models. I had the hatchback, but the other model had a little trunk about this wide that flipped up and down. And
we had the hatchback.
Yeah, I had the hatchback too.
That's the car that I took out when I was 17. My mom said I couldn't go out, but I was staying at a neighbor's house for the night. And we took the car and we pushed it down the street, started it, went out. The damn spark plug popped out. So the car was going bing, 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 bing. So as we're coming back, I turned off the car and let it coast down and around. And so before I got past the house, it stopped. So we all got out, all the gals, and we're pushing this car. And then I grabbed the wheel, and all I could do is I grabbed the horn. And by the time I started accidentally honking it, I got so nervous I kept honking it till my mom came to the window. I was like, oh my God, I was in so much trouble. I was in so much trouble. And it was broke. You know, we had to fix the spark plugs and stuff. My dad's just salary.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah,
oops.
Tim, there was no stereo. It was just an AM radio in mine.
Yes. Yeah. We just had the radio. We didn't have. Yeah, I don't think Pintos could have handled the radio.
Yeah, Tim, I think the Pinto was in Wayne's World, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because a lot of us had them. We didn't have to worry about speeding in the Pinto.
Nope.
We were lucky to get it down the road.
Well, and it was the kind of car that you got tired of very fast.
Yeah.
But see, my parents bought that for me as a graduation kind of present type of thing, going to college, and so about 2 years in, when I was working on my own and going to school, I went to the Chrysler dealership and bought a Roadrunner. So,
ooh,
it had the bucket seats and the slap shift automatic, and it was pretty slick. And I paid out the door, tax, license, and everything, $3,600.
Oh my God! See, my little Dodge that did not have air conditioning, I think was 4,000 or something. I just remember the payments seemed awful hefty to me.
Yep.
Because I was only 18.
And I made sure that I had the big rally wheel and the white lettered tire. Remember white lettered tires?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I liked my little car. It was a manual. I really liked manuals at that time. Because after the Pinto, it felt good to feel like you could get some speed going, even if it was just the sound of the manual.
Yes, Tim, it was the 440 Hemi, and I had a choice on the showroom floor of a Hemi Cuda convertible, the regular Hemi Roadrunner, And the one I probably should have bought was, you remember the Super Chickens? They had the big racing ones that had the front slope down Chrysler, and it had the wing on the back, the great big wing on the back of it. You used to race them in NASCAR. It was
Mm.
sitting there with a Hemi in it too. I could have bought either any of those within $200 of each other.
Oh, jeez.
But
That'd
my
be worth a lot of money now.
Oh yeah, the Roadrunner probably worth over $100,000.
Oh,
The
jeez.
Hemi convertible been 80, 90,000, and the Roadrunner that I did have still is a 65 or $70,000 car. But you
Sounds
look
like a
back, you
good
look
car.
back on it, all the cars I've owned, you probably Val, the same thing for you. I had a 1952 um, um, Ford Thunderbird.
Ooh.
You know, the coupe with the roof you lifted off or put back on. And,
My dad had a Thunderbird, but it was when we lived in Atlanta, Maryland, Prince
yeah,
George's County. And all I remember was, and it was older because my dad wouldn't buy a new car. He did it when he got much older, but he'd never buy anything new. He said, "Why pay a new price, Dad?"
yep,
And he got the Thunderbird, and it was so nice. He liked the big cars that were comfortable
yep,
because he had to drive, you know, he had to drive into past DC for a
yeah,
long time, and it was just a long drive for him.
yeah,
That Thunderbird was nice.
yeah.
I wanted it. I didn't want the Pinto.
Well, I bought my first wife a car that also is worth big bucks today. Was a 1965 Mustang GT Shelby edition.
Ooh, ooh.
And it had the cluster on the everything for the tach and the speedometer and all. I mean, it was a Shelby GT, and it
Hey,
was
Michael Blade, how you doing?
white with that Ford light blue stripes on it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you've had some nice cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Well, now that we're talking, Val, I see a pattern with me and drones. I buy them, keep them, sell them. Get another, buy, keep, sell,
and keep and sell. Buy,
sell.
keep, sell. Yeah, when you get ready to sell some of your other ones, let me know. If I can buy them, I will. I have to get back to work.
Yeah,
That would be a help.
yeah.
But yeah, I know that who is it? John Coopy is talking about selling was it his Mavic Pro or his Mavic Air
I think his Mavic Pro. Yeah,
for
yeah,
$400 to $500.
yeah.
That's not bad.
No, because that's about the going rate for a good one. And coming from John, it was well taken care of.
Oh yeah. He takes care of all the
And
stuff.
John DiNardo, though, was thinking about selling some of his. He's got an array of them.
Yes, he does.
He has more than I could ever imagine having.
He likes his drones.
Yep.
Well, I thought I was finally done with camera drones because I've been doing FPV, right? And building my little FPV drones. Now I'm getting my 107, so now I'm back.
Yep. Good
Makes
morning,
me
Michael
crazy.
Blade. Michael Blade had a 1970 Dodge Challenger.
Challenger.
Yep.
Those are nice too.
Yep. Oh, the shortest lived car I ever owned, Val, is there was some guys, back in the days when the gas station had all the mechanics working at them, and
Yep.
when I was a paramedic and an ambulance, we had a gas station that used to take care of our rigs, and you get to know them, because they also had tow trucks and they go out and pick up the accidents and whatever. And I bought from one of them a 1965 Chevy Chevelle SS with a I think it was a 429 6-pack, with 3 carburetors on top,
Yeah.
and it had the wider tires and it had the Hirsch shifter. And
Oh God.
I kept that for about a month or two because you'd go downtown back in those days, and every time you stopped at a stoplight, somebody wanted to race you.
Oh
And
jeez.
I got on it one time, and all of a sudden the car started, because the tires were spinning, started to slide sideways. Because the roads, they have a little bit of a crown on them, and I
Yep.
started side sliding towards a parked car, and I came home, parked that, put it up for sale, and sold it. I said, I'm going to kill myself in this car.
I remember buying those a little Geo or something like that, one of those little Metros back. I think it was the 90s or whatever, 2000s. In the 2000s. Mother of 3, working, college, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I'll never forget when I bought it, I drove it out of the lot and the muffler fell off in the side mirror. And I went to take it back and they said, no, you already bought it. I was stuck with that terrible thing.
Oh my. Yeah, the Metro Geo just was not a longevity car.
Well, it wasn't in use, it was just pretty worthless.
Yeah.
But at the time is what I could do.
Yeah.
Dodge Charger.
Tim and Michael are joining us down the memory lane on automobiles.
Yep. Well, when I was a kid in junior high school, my boyfriend's friend had a Nova, a souped up Nova.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, I had 2 girls that were always after me. And I was, it was terrible. But they came and picked me up and I got in that car. And next day I went to school. Ooh, who was that with that car?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it was all done. We were friends after that.
Yeah, Tim says we're just showing our age because we're talking about
cars. Right?
Can you imagine? That must be like what our grandparents used to sit around and talk about things similar to them. It's like, do you remember the Model A's when they first came out?
Trying to crank that going, they could go.
Yep.
Yeah, but we had some great cars.
Yep.
I mean, they were just good cars. I know I wanted for a long time. What was it? A 57 Chevy. 57 Chevy.
57.
Because I thought those looked nice. Those were some.
Well, the 57 Chevys is when they started to put those little bitty fins on it. And I think, isn't that when used to, in the left fin used to come down, and that's where the gas filler was? It was behind the tail light.
I never had one, so I don't know.
Oh, because my grandfather had one.
Oh.
And because I remember he had a red and white one. You know how they used to.
Pretty color.
Left, the tail light was slimmed down the fin, and you used to have a little button on it, or I can't remember how, but it used to flip either down or up. And then there was the filler cap. You open it up, you put the gas in there. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the filler cap, and you get rear-ended. What the heck are you going to be turned into a flame or what?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, hold on. Novas were nice. They all seemed to have the same body style. Yep, they did. Yep.
Val, you had a Dart. I had a Dart too at one time. My dad bought me he says, well, I got you another car. This was after the I got the hand-me-down of the Volkswagen with the top that used to be kind of vinyl and it used to fold back.
Yep.
We used to go out in Baja with that thing and just tore the hell out of it. But Dad came home. He says, I got you a car. I went out and looked, and here was a grandma, that tan bronzy colored 4-door Dodge Dart, and it had a one of those compasses screwed into the metal dash right in the middle.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I just kind of,
Yep.
is what it is.
Mike Blade said his grandma had one. Yeah, and then I had another one. I forget what it was. A Dodge 200 or so. I forget what it was. But when I moved to San Diego, my sister's boss had one and sold it to me for $300.
Yeah.
And every weekend I'd be out there with what little tools I could scramble, changing things, changing water pumps, trying to make that thing last for another week. That thing lasted me a couple years.
Oh yeah.
It was old, old.
Well, one of the tricks I used to play on people when we were in high school, that Dodge Dart.
Ooh, sorry.
You know how when you're in high school, you used to go out and we'd find, place spots out in the country where you used to party, and
Yep.
somebody'd show up with beer and everything, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes.
And I wasn't a drinker, but I used to go just because they were all there. So what I do is the Dodge Dart, I put a speaker behind the grill, and I bought some revolving red and blue lights and put it on a roof rack and put it on top. And I'd put it on top, take it out of the trunk, put it on top just before I'd pull in and down this dirt road to this place where they're all at. Turn those lights on, and I'd get on that speaker and I say, "Everybody, stay where you are."
Oh God.
And they'd be scrambling like hell, and here'd be all this beer and liquor unopened on the ground. And they were pissed at me for weeks after that, months.
Yeah, my God, I gotta tell you, I loved working on cars too. I didn't mind going out there and working on my cars, and it's something that was a necessity at the time.
Yeah.
I had to work on it because it wasn't going into a shop for sure. So yeah, oh my gosh.
Yep.
That was something.
Yep.
And my landlord was a Italian man. He was like 70, and he'd come out, "Carmen, what are you doing? You can't work on cars."
Yeah.
I go, I have to get it going. Because I need to go find someone to work on your car.
Right.
No, really, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yep. Well, yeah, it wasn't dignified for you as a girl being out there working on a car,
Oh, no, not for Carmen. He didn't think that was a good idea, but, you learn that way. And I'm not as afraid of doing things now, probably because of that.
Oh, yeah. You remember the high and low beam switch on the left side of the underneath on the floor? It was a silver round, and you used to click it and they go to high beams, click it and they go to low
yeah,
beams.
yeah. You used to do foot.
With your foot. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many memories of things that we've experienced in our lifetime that you just, unless you go down memory lane once in a while, you think, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Oh yeah.
Right? Because you forget all that.
I remember the first time I saw an electric window and I go, "Oh my God, what's that?"
I remember the first time I got an automatic car.
Yeah.
And I realized that I could drink coffee while I was driving.
Yep.
Yes, otherwise you had your hand on the stick, right?
Exactly.
One hand on the wheel. You weren't drinking coffee, at least not me. Oh my God. I told my son that the high beams used to be on the floor, and he never believed me. Oh my God. Yeah, because why would they be there? That wouldn't even make sense to them.
Yep. And the steering wheels were so much bigger back then too. They were huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather's car was a 3 on the tree Ford Fairlane, and I remember driving that. Dad ended up with that car when he took it away from my grandfather when he hit a parked car, And
Uh,
and so we got the Ford Fairlane as in the rotation of the family, the kids' cars, and it had a 289 in it, and it was
mm,
3 on the tree, and we used to go out and race around out in the sticks with it, play badass, and we'd jump on that baby so much 289 that it would blow the connection between the down in the exhaust because of the back pressure would, and then it was really loud. We'd have to get under there and put that connection back together again.
oh my God. That is so funny. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I got to the point where after my kids all had cars, and then I got out of college and was working, I bought newer cars.
Yeah,
And I like the ones that were at least 2 years old, still low mileage and whatever. But oh my God, I forgot what it was like to ride in a car where the headliner won't
Yep.
stay, which I
Yep.
have now with my Volkswagen. And I just thought, I remember this is why I started buying cars that were only 2 years old, because I didn't want to deal with this stuff.
right.
But
Exactly.
now I get to deal with it all over again.
Yes, exactly.
But now I need to go get it taken care of for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, Val, I think we've burnt the night hours long enough. You got to get some sleep, my dear.
Yeah, because
And Tim Jackson and Michael Blade, glad to have you here. We had an interesting conversation. And so I think I'm going to call it for the day and wish
Very good.
everybody a great day wherever you are and whatever you're doing on the planet. And we'll see you all again soon at 9 o'clock today. You've always got Canadian Drone Hub, 9 o'clock Eastern time in the US. Roger will be on. So
yeah, he will.
and we'll see everybody soon, I hope, and take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.